Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Friday, August 1st, 2025. Now, if you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Put your baseball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games I love the most, including my daily rundown best bet in Major League Baseball, you can find those at the premium picks tab of pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Friday. We start a new month. I think we can all agree July wasn't the best month to us, especially towards the second half of the month. So I'm looking forward to starting new on August 1st. Here are the games. First up, we have an afternoon game between the Atlanta Braves and the Cincinnati Reds. We've got Bryce Elder and Brady Singer as the projected starters. One of two afternoon games for the Friday card, which you always love to see. Baseball all throughout the day, with the first game 12 Eastern, the last game 10 p.m. Eastern. And in this first one, I've mentioned many times throughout the rundown the last few years with Bryce Elder as a starting pitcher. We haven't backed him very often. Just don't think he's been, a great option in most of these games, most of these spots for Atlanta, and he's coming off one of his worst starts of the season where he gave up 8 earned runs. Yet I still think there's value on the Atlanta Braves in this game, and I say that not because I think Bryce Elder's going to pitch well. I think the Reds will be able to get to him, but I think that the Braves can match Cincinnati in this one offensively, kind of cancel these starting pitchers out, and I still think post-deadline the Braves have the better bullpen in this matchup, and I'm not in love with the Cincinnati Reds offense. I question the Cincinnati Reds being somewhat buyers at the trade deadline. I just don't think this team, even post-deadline, is talented enough to be a real contender in a really tough National League. We knew that the Dodgers, Mets, and Cubs, and even Phillies were going to be, and you can't forget the Brewers, of course, were going to be really, really good teams post-deadline. But now the San Diego Padres also made some big-time moves to bolster their roster. I just don't see where Cincinnati fits, and I don't think that this team, I think we're going to see this team be priced like this, a sizable home favorite, when they shouldn't be. I know Singer pitched really well in his last game, but the Atlanta Braves' current lineup has great numbers against them. I think Elder struggles. I think Singer struggles. I think we go over the total. I think the Braves end up winning this game at plus money. Next up, we've got the Baltimore Orioles taking on the Chicago Cubs, the second afternoon game on the board. Trevor Rogers and Cade Horton are the starters. Now, this already looks to be pretty pitcher-friendly weather in this game at Wrigley Field, and we see a pretty low total at the opening number. Two good starting pitching options. We know Rogers has pitched very well so far for the Orioles, and Cade Horton's had a solid rookie season, especially at Wrigley Field. He's got even better numbers at Wrigley. The Orioles just lost a few key bats. Of course, Ryan O'Hearn and Cedric Mullins, were traded at the deadline as the Orioles were sellers. So I don't really, I think the Orioles lineup will be fine the rest of the season. I think they'll be right around a league average, maybe a little bit below league average offense. But in a game like this, I do think they struggle to score in this very first game with that new look lineup, and I think we see a low-scoring game overall. I'm going to roll with the under in Orioles-Cubs. Next up, the Detroit Tigers taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. We've got Jack Flaherty and Ranger Suarez as the starters. Flaherty 2-5 with an ERA at 6.28 on the road this season. We saw him pitch well enough for the victory in his last game against the Blue Jays, but that was at Comerica Park. The last two road games for Flaherty ended up being both losses for the Tigers against the Pirates and the Nationals, losing record teams. Now you're in Philadelphia against a really tough Phillies team that we know bolstered that roster at the deadline, facing Ranger Suarez, a lefty. The Tigers have not done too well against lefties in the last month, in the month of July. I think Suarez pitches well. I think that I think the Phillies can get to Flaherty. I think the Phillies win this game. I'm going to take them on the money line and run line. Next up, we've got the Brewers and the Nationals. We've got Jose Quintana and Mitchell Parker as the starters. Now, it may be crazy to back Mitchell Parker in this spot after he just struggled against these Brewers not too long ago, giving up 8 earned runs, but that was on the road. And we've talked about Mitchell Parker. His home and road splits have been pretty significant. His last 2 seasons, his rookie year last year and so far in 2025, a sub-4 ERA at Nationals Park this season. The Nationals have a winning record, 6-5 in those home starts. Parker's been pretty solid his last 2 games against the Padres and Twins, a combined 11 2/3, 4 earned runs, 8 strikeouts, and 2 Nationals victories, 4-2 and 9-3. I just think that this is a spot where there's no way I could lay minus 140, minus 150 on Jose Quintana on the road. He's got big-time regression concerns. His underlying numbers are miserable. While he's pitched well so far, I still don't trust him going forward at these types of prices. I think that there's value on a guy like Quintana at home at plus money. On the road, laying 150, no thank you. I'm going to take the Nationals plus money on the money line. Next up, we've got the Kansas City Royals taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. We've got Michael Wacha and Kevin Gausman as the starters. Michael Wacha against his current Blue Jays lineup, not very good numbers, and this is already a really tough lineup to face against right-handed pitching right now. Kevin Gausman, I've talked about how he's not been as dominant, this season as we saw just a few years back where he was a Cy Young candidate, but now his ERA is sub-4 on the season. He's been in better form, and I think he gets the run support in this game. I'm going to roll the Blue Jays in this one on the money line and run line at Rogers Center. Next up, we've got the Minnesota Twins and the Cleveland Guardians. Joe Ryan and Gavin Williams are your projected starters. So Joe Ryan survives the MLB trade deadline. Not many Twins players can say that, as we saw the Twins were very busy sellers at the deadline. Carlos Correa, the biggest name, but Duran in the bullpen, Colombo, Brock Stewart. I think it's safe to say, and on August 1st with the Twins, with their record, the way it is, not my best take to say that I like them to win the AL Central. It happens. Listen, we had the Blue Jays preseason as, big-time dark horse in the American League. The Brewers in the middle of the season, we talked about how they were, losing record. Here they are now in first place in the National League Central. So, we'll take the loss with the Twins and, look to do better next time. But I think that this is still a spot for Minnesota. I like the chances in the first half of this game. I still think Joe Ryan's a really good starting pitching option. I'm just a little bit concerned now with that Twins bullpen, which I considered one of the better bullpens in baseball. And there's a reason you see all these relievers bringing in, big hauls prospect-wise at the deadline, but no longer. The Twins are going to have to figure out what they're going to do with the bullpen the rest of the season. I'm just going to take Minnesota in the first 5 innings in this one. Next up, we've got the New York Yankees taking on the Miami Marlins. We've got Carlos Rodon and Jansen Junk as the starters. As much as it may be tempting to take a sizable plus money price with the Marlins at Lone Depot, I just can't get there with the fish in this specific matchup. I do worry about Jansen Junk going forward. We started to see that regression, a little bit as of late. 10 innings, 7 earned runs his last 2 games, with only 6 strikeouts to go with it. Against a tough Yankees lineup, even without Aaron Judge, we've seen this team score some runs recently in that Rays series especially. I think that the Yankees can get the Junk, and I also think Rodon is a great matchup here. He's been okay on the road, 64 innings, 73 strikeouts, a 3.38 ERA. He's facing a Marlins team in the last month, in the month of July, dead last in team OPS against left-handed pitching. I got to go with the Yankees in this one on the money line and the run line. Next up, we've got the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. We got Clayton Kershaw and Shane Baz as the starters. Shane Baz's last start at Steinbrenner Field, he got crushed against the Chicago White Sox. He's now got an ERA above 6 at home this season. I just can't back the Rays in this spot. They've not been great against left-handed pitching. Baz has struggled at home. I know Kershaw, I do expect some regression in his game. His expected numbers aren't the best. And this has overall been a competitive Rays team at Steinbrenner Field with a winning record. Plus, the Dodgers have been pretty mediocre on the road. But I still think the Dodgers walk away with the victory in this one. I'm going to roll with LA on the money line on the road. Next up, we've got the Pirates and the Rockies. We got Andrew Heaney and Antonio Senzatella as the starters. Now, this is an interesting spot for Heaney because on one hand, he's 1-6 with an ERA above 6 on the road, and he's facing a Rockies team that was pretty solid against lefties in the month of July. But he's also got a lot of Coors Field experience for an opposing starter. He's got 25 innings and a sub-4 ERA at Coors Field in his career. He's pitched pretty well there. Only 3 home runs given up in those 25 innings. So I don't necessarily think it's a miserable spot for him, and I think he's going to get some run support. Antonio Senzatella, not a great option on the other side either. Even with the Pirates' deadline moves, I still think they have the better bullpen in this game as well. So I'm going to roll the Pittsburgh Pirates on the money line on the road with a lean towards the over as well. Next up, the Chicago White Sox taking on the Los Angeles Angels. We've got Tyler Anderson for LA, no official starter right now for Chicago. So far in the second half of the season, the White Sox have been one of the more profitable teams in Major League Baseball in terms of money line and run line wins. I think this is a spot where, to get a nice plus money price, a team that's been really good against left-handed pitching in the month of July. I'm going to take a shot here with Chicago on the road. Angels made some moves at the deadline, picking up some players. Maybe not necessarily full-time buyers, but definitely not sellers. The Angels are going for it this year, and I think, why not? This is a franchise that's been losing and losing and losing for the last decade plus. Now you've got a reasonably talented team and a competitive team. You might as well make some moves and go for it a little bit, but I don't think that the Angels will make too much noise the rest of the season, and especially if they're priced like this, I won't be touching them too often. So give me the White Sox in this one on the money line. Next up, we've got the Giants and the Mets. We've got a pair of lefties on the mound in this one, Robbie Ray and David Peterson. We saw the same pitching matchup last week at Oracle Park. Ended up being a Mets victory. I think we see another Mets win in this one. I think the Giants have proven to be one of the weaker lineups in baseball against left-handed pitching in the last few months, and Peterson's pitched really well at Citi Field this season. Robbie Ray has been known to be a winning machine this year. The Giants have won a lot of his starts, but they've lost his last 3. I like the Mets in this one on the money line. Next up, the St. Louis Cardinals and the San Diego Padres. We've got Matthew Liberatore and Nick Pivetta as the starters. Pivetta's pitching really well recently, 2 earned runs or fewer in 5 straight games. The Padres made some big-time moves at the deadline this year, bolstering that bullpen rotation and the lineup in Ryan O'Hearn, the late addition to the deadline. And obviously it was a big haul given up for Miller and Sears, including a top 10 Major League Baseball prospect in DeVries. But San Diego's 10 games above 500, 11 games above 500. They feel that they have a talented enough team to make a run in the National League, and they're going for it. And I think that they at least win this first game on the money line and run line. I like their chances against Liberatore, and I like their Padres bullpen. I think they have a big advantage in this matchup in this series. Next up, we've got the Diamondbacks and the A's. Now, the projected starter of Merrill Kelly is no longer, as he was traded to the Texas Rangers right around 5:30 Eastern of the trade deadline. And right now we're going to see Jacob Lopez going for the Athletics, but we're still waiting for the new starter listed for Arizona. I like the Athletics in this game, though. I think that Diamondbacks, while they've made some improvements against lefties in the last couple of months, they're still in the month of July near the bottom of the league in team OPS against left-handed pitching. Lopez has been one of the rare starting pitchers for the Athletics. Actually has better numbers in terms of ZRA at home than he does on the road. I think he pitches well enough for the Athletics to grab a victory. Give me the A's on the money line. Next up, we've got the Rangers and the Mariners. We've got Jack Leiter and Logan Gilbert as the starters, but Merrill Kelly, like we talked about, traded to the Rangers, and he was already headed to Sacramento at the very least. Probably wasn't headed anywhere, honestly. He was a pretty known trade that was going to happen on Thursday, but if he was headed to Sacramento, make the move to Seattle, and may be able to pitch for the Rangers in this game, push Jack Leiter out of the way, as Kelly's been a great option this season. So we'll see what happens, but it looks like Leiter and Gilbert for now. And if it is, and even if it's Kelly, I like the Mariners to win this game. Gilbert's been pitching really well at T-Mobile Park. I think that the Mariners have the offense here, whether it's against Kelly or Jack Leiter. I mean, especially Leiter, as they've got good numbers, the current Mariners lineup against Leiter in past meetings. So give me Seattle in a lower scoring game on the money line and run line. And that's it. Those are the games for Friday in baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com, and there is a link in the description. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.